Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. We begin with some very sad news coming out of Benue State. The police in the Middle Belt State have confirmed that an officer who was declared missing on Saturday has been found dead. The deceased officer was one of the 4 police officials who went missing following an ambush by suspected herders in Logo local government area on Saturday afternoon. 2 of the officers were found unhurt on Sunday, while the other 2 were still declared missing. Now, one of the 2 who were still missing has been found dead. A statement from the police on Monday said the deceased officer was found dead with some missing body parts. Meanwhile, following the rising case of insecurity in the country, President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday summoned an emergency meeting with Nigeria's security chiefs. The meeting, which is being held at the presidential villa in Abuja, also had Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in attendance. President Buhari, in a brief statement after the meeting, said government is determined to implement carefully considered security solutions that will not only earn the confidence of Nigerians, but also stand the test of time. The meeting also comes days after the Department of State Services, DSS, briefed President Buhari on the release of 3 University of Maiduguri lecturers abducted by suspected Boko Haram terrorists in Magumeri, Borno State. Also released from Boko Haram captivity are 10 women kidnapped in a raid by the militant group on a military police convoy on Damboa Road near Maiduguri. Their release followed a series of negotiations as directed by the president. The negotiations were facilitated by the International Committee of Red Cross. The Nigerian government on Monday began mass public trial of over 1,000 Boko Haram suspects. The decision to hold a public trial comes after criticism from several rights groups, including Amnesty International, over last year's secret trial. Last October, 45 people were sentenced to between 3 and 31 years in prison, while more than 400 other Boko Haram suspects were discharged for lack of evidence. The retrials were halted for 4 months to enable authorities finish investigations on the Boko Haram suspects, according to Nigeria's Justice Ministry. The cases are being heard at a military facility in central Nigeria's town of Kainji, Niger State. Still on the insecurity situation in the country, Cardinal State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has condemned the attack that left 4 people dead at Banki Kogi village in Jama local government area of the state. The governor reacted to the attack in a statement issued by his spokesperson Samuel Arawon. Governor El-Rufai commiserated with victims and people of Banki Kogi over the attack and assured them that security operatives have been deployed in the area to contain the incidents. The governor has also directed the State Emergency Management Agency SEMA to visit the community to assess the situation and take necessary steps to relieve human suffering. The International Criminal Court have submitted its preliminary report on the clash between the Nigerian Army and Shia members to the Attorney General Abubakar Malami. On December 12 and 13, 2015, the Nigerian Army and members of the Muslim Shiite sect clashed, leaving more than 300 people dead, with many others still missing. The raids took place after members of the sect barricaded a road, stopping the convoy of Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff Tukur Buratai. The Office of the Prosecutor at the War Crimes Tribunal reached its preliminary conclusion into the killings in December 2017 and had submitted its findings to the Nigerian government, demanding explanations about the incident. The ICC said the attack on members of the movement, which was carried out by the Nigerian Army, violated International Statute of Human Rights. Shop owners, artists, traders operating at the National Arts Council Abuja on Monday protested against their forced eviction by the Nigerian police. The traders who gathered outside the Arts Council say they were never given notice or warning by any government agency before being unjustly evicted with force. The traders also faulted the position of police on 92 people arrested on allegations that they were found with arms and drugs at the National Arts Council. These traders, artists, shop owners and artisans got to the National Council of Arts and Culture locked down with armed policemen guarding the surroundings. With their goods locked inside these premises, business is temporarily at a halt for them. but for how long, they cannot say.
He starts arresting the school members. We went to command. DSS refused to take the matter. We went to zone 3. From command, he took us to EFCC. EFCC detained our 2 ESCOs, the General Secretary and the President. Next, FSARS. FSARS raids here on the 10th, 3 a.m. in the morning. Arrest 92 members. Please, do you know the 92 people that were arrested? Yes. 92 people were arrested. These are the people's voices. The fundamental right and abuse by FSARS is what we are here. It cannot continue.
We have been dragged to different kind of places. They have taken us to DSS, Commissioner of Police Office, DPO office. The last one we have been detained in the EFCC. That they were alleged that we collected money from embassies, which no single embassy had paid a dime into our account. The list now was the SARS, which came on Saturday, that come and raided our market, taking almost 92 people in their place, which they framed that they got them with a gun and in their hand. If I can attest to you that if you go to these people, most of them don't even smoke. Take it in their hand.
They believe their audio is from one man, the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Segun Rushawe. The DG has been accused of acts capable of undermining the growth of arts in the country.
It cannot continue. This is, the Otumba came, he did not send us any paper. He gave us money to pay to accounts. We paid millions to a private account, a non-TSA account. Next thing, he says, we see police, lock up our businesses. I have over 50 million naira worth of stuff there. 1 billion naira worth of stock in there, unprotected investment now.
The police have also been accused of complicity in the matter by illegally arresting and detaining their members. These traders say over 400 jobs have been lost so far and wants the president to look into the issues of abuse of office by both the police authority and the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. Man of the Nigeria Police Force has occupied the building of the National Health Insurance Scheme (NHIS) as workers continue their protest over the reinstatement of Usman Yusuf as the Executive Secretary of the agency. The officers were reportedly deployed to prevent clash between supporters of Yusuf and those against his reinstatement. Yusuf was recalled by President Muhammadu Buhari despite still being investigated for alleged gross misconduct. The government has, however, assured that his recall will not affect the ongoing investigation against him. The federal government has charged Senator representing Kogi West Dino Malaye for allegedly framing Edward David for attempted assassination. David, who is the chief of staff to Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, was accused by Malaye in April 2017 of being behind an alleged assassination attempt on his life. However, the senator is now being accused of deliberately giving false information to the police to frame Bello's chief of staff. In a suit filed by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, the federal government said the police found out that Malaye's claim was false. The suit is before Federal High Court in Abuja. The International Organization for Migration on Monday began a 4-day workshop session for migrants in the city of Ikeja, Lagos. The 4-day training themed business skills and cooperatives for migrant returnees aims at giving the returnees a chance to rebuild their lives by providing them with various entrepreneurial skills and ideas.
Basically, what we do, because of the level of exposure and understanding, we try to take them through, they call it generate your business idea, because we found out that a lot of them do not have a proper business idea. You know, we take them through that basic skill so that they understand the kind of business that are viable within their environment. You know, we take them through that and equip them with that capacity. Then we also take them through a kind of business plan development so that they plan the kind of business also they need to start up with.
The workshop is about business skills for returned migrants, you know, from Libya as well. It seeks to address the issue of capacity building and to give them a sort of soft landing for the reintegration process back into the system. These guys have been away for a long time, so we need to carry out the kind of mindset re-engineering to help them identify their passion and what they can do better, setting them on a platter of where they can now come in and see that they, all hopes not lost, they can start business and give them the needed support from the, government angles such as capacity building, access to market, identifying what we do and everything, networking, and a whole lot of other things.
Some of the returnees present at the training session expressed hope and joy with the opportunity provided to them.
From now, I thought all hope was lost, but all thanks to IOM. The step I want to take now is from here, start up a business and start all over, because they say the downfall of a man is not the end of his life, so look for somewhere to start from. So after here, I have so many ways to start from, so I've learned a lot.
When I partake with the IOM training business, I really learned a lot, and they made us to understand that being a Libya returnees, we should not lose hope, we should believe in ourselves, and we should hope in God that with the help of the United IOM come together, they are going to help us to become somebody, and then they are going to teach us how to do our business, to be creative, and then to package everything so that we'll be able to benefit and to change others, to change the life of others, to transform them, so that we'll become a good person to the society and to the world at large.
Some of the 90 Youth Corps members that received presidential award and scholarships to further their education overseas have protested against government neglect and flouting of President Buhari's order for their scholarship letter and funding to be released. 164 Corps members who served in 2015 and 2016 were given presidential award with scholarship for masters and PhD abroad, but 3 years after, only 74 has been given their scholarship letter and funding.
We were actually 164 in number that were awarded, and we were supposed to go on scholarship. We were also given automatic employment, but to our dismay and to our surprise, about 74 were sent on scholarship since last 3 years now, and about 90 have been awaiting their scholarship letters and funding. And we've been trying to liaise with every stakeholder, e.g. the National Universities Commission, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, and Ministry of Education, which the Ministry of Education actually tried their bit in this regard, I must confess. And also, we also tried to liaise with the Federal Scholarship Board, but all to no avail. All our dialogue seems to have reached a deadlock. And so on this platform, we are trying to bring and hear our opinions and hear our views that this injustice has to be remedied by the Nigerian government.
This has nothing to do with the transition of government from PDP to APC. I commend President Buhari because when he heard our cry, he gave directive. What is paining us, that is making us stage this protest, is because the president's directive is being flouted. And if a country cannot respect the order of the president, who else? We are doomed. So that is why we don't know what else to do. That's why we are coming out to ask the media to help us reach the president and well-meaning Nigerians who can allow us, because this is a pure injustice.
Corruption not in my country.
Madam, madam, welcome. Okay, madam, no worry. When you deliver the balance, we'll give you the goods.
No problem, no problem. All right, so now well done.
Thank you. Hey, Oga, I still say she don't bring money. Maybe we'll use this one for him now. She wants mahogany, not white wood. Oga, our work now to join wood together, deliver whatever to customer, put the remaining profit for pocket.
Abba, this is corruption, not in my country. Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Glad to have you back. Looking at business stories now. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adelsun, has assured the federal government's 2018 capital budget of 2.4 trillion naira will be strictly used for infrastructure projects across the country, particularly the completion of ongoing projects. According to a statement issued by her media advisor, Yinka Akintunde, the minister said this during a lecture at the National Defense College. Adelson, who was represented by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the lecture, maintained that the present administration would not engage in the diversion of the capital project funds for the elections. The Nigerian stock market again opened the trading week in a loss. After trading in red all through the previous week, the all-share index closed the market on a negative of 0.90%, that is 42,737.89 basis points. The market capitalization also inched down from 15.476 of last traded session to 15.337. 24 equities appreciated at the end of the trading session, with Dangote Cement, Better Glass PLC, PZ Cussons and GlaxoSmithKline leading the chart. Meanwhile, 36 equities lost in price. The table had Nigeria Brewers losing by 2.85%, Guaranty Trust Bank by 5%, Lafarge Africa by 3.85% and Zenith Bank by 4.85%. The foremost traded equities in terms of quantity were Sky Bank, First Bank of Nigeria Holding, Jaiz Bank and Transnational Corporation of Nigeria. A total turnover of 517.437 million shares worth 5.18 billion naira in 5,852 deals were traded by investors on the floor of the market on Monday. OPEC said on Monday world oil demand would grow faster than expected in 2018 because of a healthy world economy, adding a boost to efforts to remove a supply glut by cutting output. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries said world oil demand would rise by 1.59 million barrels per day this year, an increase of 60,000 barrels per day from the previous forecast. Balancing the highest demand forecast, OPEC said the United States and other outside producers would boost supply by 1.4 million barrels per day this year, up 250,000 barrels per day from last month and the third consecutive rise from 870,000 barrels per day in November. Meanwhile, oil prices held on to their earlier gains after the release of the report, trading just below $64 a barrel. Onto the international scene now. Egyptian security forces say they have killed 12 Islamist militants in gun battle and arrested 92 suspects. Based on army statement, around 28 militants have been killed since Friday in the latest offensive to crush insurgents blamed for a string of attacks. The latest statement said airstrikes had hit at least 60 militant targets. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who is seeking re-election in March, ordered the armed forces in November to defeat militants within 3 months after an attack on a mosque killed more than 300 people, the deadliest such incident in the Arab world's most populous country. Leaders of South Africa's governing ANC party are meeting to decide the future of President Jacob Zuma. The National Executive Committee is likely to ask him to step down. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa acknowledged on Sunday that the issue was causing disunity and discord. Zuma, who is 75, faces a number of corruption charges after 9 years in power. There are 112 members of the NEC and many may want to share their views during the meeting in Pretoria. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has pledged to invest in training Nigerian athletes to improve their record in marathon races. The governor was speaking while presenting an award to the winner of the 2018 Lagos City Marathon, once again dominated by East Africans. Kenya's Abraham Kiptotich, who won the male category in a record 2 hours 13 minutes 4 seconds, while Ethiopia's Almanesh Gutta won the women's category. Ambode, in his speech at the event, also pledged to scale up the prize money for future competitions.
We've had over 100,000 participants today, and then we've almost, in all the records, we've broken all the records of last year, and we're very excited about this. Yes, this is the bronze level. The intention is to take this to the gold level in the next 2 years, and we know we can do this. This is more about the energy of Lagos. Beyond the fact that we're able to show the aesthetics and improvements that we've done in the last 2.5 years, Lagos is getting better and Lagos is getting more enjoyable. I know we're going to do this again next year, and then come Saturday, 9th February 2019, we're going to have a bigger marathon and bigger prizes. Now, my promise to Nigeria is this. I'm tired of giving this old race to the East Africans. So Lagos State is going to commit professional coaches, and then we go to Jos, and then when we come back in 2 years' time, we'll give them a fight for their money.
Nigeria women coach Thomas Danaby has named his 21 women's squad players for the WAFU Women's Nations Cup in Côte d'Ivoire. The Super Falcons are competing in the maiden edition of the Women's Regional Football Showcase, scheduled between February 14 and 24, and have been drawn in Group B with Benin Republic, Senegal, and Togo. Danaby will be hoping for a winning start in charge when Nigeria commenced their campaign against Benin Republic on Thursday, February 15. Serena Williams made her long-awaited comeback to competitive tennis on Sunday alongside elder sister Venus after the United States sealed a decisive victory over the Netherlands in their defense for the Federation Cup. It is Serena's first competitive match since winning her 23rd Grand Slam title at the 2017 Australian Open. The 36-year-old American took time away from the sport to get married and give birth to her daughter. Well, that's it on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.